I would like to welcome today to our third episode of the Robinson webinar series, where we will discuss the replicability and business models. Our project, as you may have already found out in the previous episodes and previous Island Energy Forum events, aims at decarbonizing geographical islands, both with existing and new technologies that will be incorporated into the new energy management system. Our project is now at month 41 and is approaching the demonstration phase in the next months to come and will be completed next year. So today is a good occasion to share with you our results on the replicability, what we did so far, and also to show you how we came to business models for energy communities. So as we shared with you before, the first presentation will be provided by Dimitra from Stratagem, our project partner in Cyprus. Dimitra will show us the business models developed within Robinson for the energy communities in our demonstration islands, in Egero in Norway, and also in the follower islands, so both in Western Isles, in Scotland, and in Crete, in Greece. Later on, we'll give the floor to Nikolaos Savvakis from Technical University of Crete, and Nikos will showcase the replicability and the evidence-based tools of Robinson project. Finally, we'll open the floor for the question and answers, the discussions, and as we briefly mentioned before, we will also enable your microphone and camera to speak up. And to do so, please raise your hand so that I can see you and I can enable your microphone during the end of the meeting. At the very end, you also have the possibility to complete a very quick survey to provide us feedback with the webinar organization. So with this, I will give the floor to Dimitra for the first presentation, and I will share my screen. So Dimitra, the floor is yours.
Okay, Nikolaos, thank you very much.
Feel free to open your camera when you want.
Yes, of course.
So I'm sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see it correctly.
Maybe you have to turn it to the presentation mode. Yes, okay.
Yes, it's uploading.
Okay. Okay, we can start. As Nikolaos said, I'm Dimitra from Stratagem. We're going to present the business models for energy communities that we developed in Robinson project. I will start my presentation with some definitions for those that are not familiar with these terms. So let's say what energy communities are. So the energy communities refer to the communities within the European Union working towards the European Green Deal and climate goals. They contribute to increase public acceptance of renewable energy projects. And of course, they want to attract private investments in the clean energy transition. Also, at the same time, they provide some benefits to citizens by increasing energy efficiency, lowering their electricity bills, and creating local job opportunities. Regarding the term local energy communities, we refer to the legal entities that effectively control their members, are locally rooted, as you can understand, and their goals are to provide environmental, economic, and social and financial benefits. So when we refer to the business models for energy communities, we refer to the business models that allow citizens who are unable or unwilling to deploy energy on their properties for many reasons, such as the low income, lack of capital, or a lack of space, to buy power from a shared clean energy project. These are some of the most common used energy business models. Of course, there are more others, and in our deliverable, which is a public deliverable in our website, in Robinson website, you can find more information about these energy business models. So these different types of business models and financial instruments that we have in our disposal can support cities and their communities to overcome the barriers that they face and accelerate the clean energy projects and policies. The adoption of a suitable business model can financially support a project by generating financial returns. So when we have to select a business model for our case, we have to take into consideration the following factors. The local conditions. For instance, in our case, in Robinson projects, we had 3 different locations, 3 different islands in Norway, Scotland, and Greece. Financial situation, the regulatory and institutional framework. If, for instance, the regulation suggests us to use some specific business models, and of course, support mechanisms for its territory. In Robinson project, we selected these 5 business models. And why 5? Because according to the grant agreement, we have to develop 5 business models for Aegerois Island, 1 for Western Isles, and 1 for Crete. So as you can see here, we decided to select the public-private partnership, the energy services company, the well-known as ESCO, the community energy business model, the virtual power plant, and the energy cooperatives. In order to indicate the different actors and customers that these models can provide, we selected the business model canvas, which is a model that focuses on creating value through the integration of renewable energy sources, energy efficient technologies, and smart grid infrastructure. In the next slide, we will say a few words about the business model canvas. If you are not familiar with that, is one of the most used frameworks for analyzing firms' business models. It consists, as you can see here, of 90 connected elements. The key partnership, which is the network of suppliers and partners that assist the organization business model. The key activities, these are the most important processes that need to take place in order for a business model to work. The cost that we have, the key resources, the resources that we need to create value for an organization, the value proposition, which are the products and services that provide value to the customer and also give the solutions to their problems. The customer relationships, these are the different types of relationships that an organization wants to establish with the different customer groups. The customer segments are the different groups, as we said. The channels are the different ways that we want to communicate and deliver products and services. The revenue streams are how an organization generates revenues from its customer segment. So in the next slide, we will see how this business model developed for each case in our project.
Excellent.
So here we will analyze 2 different business models for Aegerois. The first one is the community energy business model. The main target of this model is the community ownership, leadership, and benefits, which means that the ownership and ventures are shared by the community. Communities own or participate in the production of clean energy. Most of the community energy projects' profit is given back to the community through revenue distribution or other benefits. And the clean energy installation provides power to the community members. So here we developed this business model canvas. We analyzed the energy business model in a canvas. We identified the key partners. For this case, the key activities, which are the technologies in Robinson. And of course, we can see here the value propositions. We highlighted the most suitable for this business model, which are most of the lower energy cost. Most of the community energy projects profit is given back to the community, offer energy saving solutions to local community, and the citizens and communities own or participate in the production of green energy, and of course the grid efficiency. Also here we can see the customer relationships. As we said, these are the relationship that we want to develop with the customers. We have the personal assistants, the co-creation retailers, and so on. The channels, how we communicate the technologies that we develop or the services that we have with the local or regional authorities, municipalities, etc. And also we can see the different types of groups of customers, groups that we have here. And you can see the local industries, the existing residents, the local fleet of vehicles powered by green gases, and so on. And of course, the cost and the revenue streams that we gain from this model. In the next slide, we will see the energy service company. The ESCO model is a model that provide energy services and savings rather than actually selling energy. So the main focus here is on reducing consumer demand, which results in lower energy bills and CO2 emissions. The community can implement an ESCO to carry out energy retrofitting of their building stock, such as insulation, improving the indoor climate and integrating renewable energy sources. Here again, we had to analyze and to identify more appropriately the key partners. The value propositions here are the values that this model can create. In our case, in this model, we reduce customer demand and upgrade energy efficiency, balancing the grid by means of the demand and response services, energy management based on shared savings, and improving the indoor climate and integrating renewable energy sources. Here we can say that in some cases we can have two different business models, energy business models, to integrate them together. For instance, during project implementation, in our deliverable, you can find that we have two different energy business models. For instance, the VPP that we will show later and the ESCO model together. And you can see there how we can analyze and see the benefits that a stakeholder can have from the implementation of the ESCO model and the virtual plant model. So in the next slide, Nikolaos, if you want. Yes, we have the Crete, for Crete Island, we have the cooperative energy business model. This gives the members to benefit from lower energy cost as a result of the cooperative's bulk purchasing power. This model enables community members that cannot or choose not to install a clean energy at their properties to access clean energy and minimizes social and environmental impacts. This model is based, the success, if I can say, is based on the regulation. So in this case, in Crete, we selected this model because it's supported by the regulation, and based on the information that we have with our partner in Crete, this model was the most appropriate. So here also we can see the business model canvas with the different partners, activities, and so on. And the value proposition that this model can give us is that they reduce dependency on important fossil fuels, offer energy saving solutions to local community, utilization of the various biomass resources. In Crete, they have agricultural waste and from olive oils, and carbon reduction from use of fresh and energy management system to control and optimize energy usage. In the next slide, we will see for the Western Isles, the virtual power plant business model. This model is a software platform that remotely controls a network of medium and small scale generator units such as solar, CHP, wind, biogas, etc. With this model, individual, household, and businesses can become part of the virtual power plant as flexible consumers. Also here, we developed the business model canvas, and we present also here the value propositions, the values that the customers can gain from this business model. It integrates many resources, decreases the sorry, Nicola, I can read the okay. Decrease the requirements for high installed power capacity. We have the techniques like load shifting here. Yes, thank you very much. Also, is a decentralized energy system that aggregates the energy generation and storage capabilities of multiple buildings or homes in a community. In the revenues here, we also added the revenues that comes from the demand and response events. So all these different models were developed based on the particularities of each island, the regulatory framework, and the different conditions that they exist in each island. This is the whole picture, and of course, if we want to analyze in more detail, we have to, as I said before, to take, for instance, the prosumers and the VPP operator or other stakeholders that involved in a case, and to analyze using, again, the business model canvas, and to analyze in more detail and to be in specific stakeholder, to concentrate in specific stakeholder, and to give what he can gain, which are the barriers, the cost, and other revenues that can have by implementing such a model. So lastly, I want to share with you a highlight from the Bridge initiative. The Bridge, for those that they don't know, the Bridge initiative unites Horizon 2020 and other projects and create a structured view of cross-cutting issues encountered in the demonstration projects. It may constitute an obstacle to innovation. So in this initiative, if I remember well, there are 28 projects that participate there, and they share their experience and what they have developed in the project. So in the General Assembly, which was held the 9th of April 2024, they presented the highlights of this survey. And here we can see that according to the projects and the survey that they made, the most well-known and the model that they use to describe their cases are the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas. So if you want to learn more about this initiative and to see the 4 working groups that are included in this initiative, you can follow this link, where you can find the results of the data management group, the business model group, the regulations, and also the citizen engagement. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitra, for the presentation. Personally, I am delighted to see the work we did at Robinson, and specifically also the result that we can bring to the outsider community. Before giving the floor for the question and answers and comments as well. I'd like to give the floor to Nikos, as he will give a presentation on the replicability of Robinson and the tools that Technical University of Crete has developed within its work. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolaos. Can I share my screen?
Sure, you can. Please go.
Thank you very much. Don't have access. Okay, now I can share my screen. I think now you can see my screen. Is that correct?
Yes, I confirm, Nikos. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome all participants to this webinar. My presentation is more focused into the core steps for the development of a replication plan. And I will start now explaining mainly the process related to the design of such a replication procedure. Firstly, we have to explain why the replication is very important in the Robinson project. The term replication in the context of the Robinson project represents overall a concept consisting of two distinct components: replication of a lighthouse system in the follower islands, replication in other islands areas and conditions, and further the development and upscaling of the lighthouse system. While Robinson offers promising solutions for the decarbonization of islands, it is of crucial importance to understand the main challenges that should be addressed for the successful replication of these solutions. These challenges include the need for comprehensive evidence guidelines to showcase technical specifications, the importance of providing adequate support and resources for replication, and the difficulty of engaging diverse stakeholders. Additionally, adapting solutions to different contexts, scaling up initiatives, and navigating regulatory frameworks are significant hurdles. Overcoming such type of challenges requires careful planning, collaboration, and customization to ensure the successful replication of of Robinson Solutions. Robinson, to this end, Robinson has established a generic systematic approach to ensure and support the replicability of its solutions. The steps foreseen in this procedure are motivating strategic stakeholders. This is very important in order to provide evidence which is vital in gaining the support and the trust of those who can drive the replication efforts. Defining application range. These steps ensures that we have a clear understanding of which cases are relevant and how our solutions can be implemented. Market viability research is important to identify critical factors for success and marketability of the solutions. Identifying business models play a crucial role in the business planning of the replication projects. Funding also involves mapping of potential sources and schemes, establishing connections with private investors, and crafting a clear financial roadmap. And finally, moving forward, an overall replication plan and guidelines were developed, providing a structured path for applying and upscaling Robinson Solutions. Closing this slide, of course, the relevant adaptations have to be implemented in order to create Faulkner Island replication plans. To simplify and support the efficient replication of the Robinson concept, we have created a replication roadmap tool. This tool is aligned more or less with the key phases of generic replication strategy, which explained in the previous slide. More specifically, the replication roadmap tool includes 6 steps. The first step is related to the identification of the needs and the potentials. This step aligns with the pre-replication assessment in order to identify the specific needs that have to be addressed with the replication process. The second step is focused on the setup of an action group. The creation of a replication team falls under the stakeholder engagement, emphasizing the importance of community involvement. Another crucial step is referred as linking to solution. Of course, this step is related to the technology transfer, focusing on linking the identified needs to the appropriate solutions and technologies. The fourth step supports the aligning with the market conditions and the regulatory aspects. The adaptation phase, which is related to the fifth step, confirms Robinson Solutions to the specific replication location. And the sixth step creates an overall replication roadmap, including timelines, milestones, actions required to implement the Robinson Solution successfully. All this information have been integrated in two important tools, two important digital tools. The one tool is the flexible digital evidence base, which encompasses information of various types, technical data, technical plans, designs, and knowledge created within the Robinson concept. This tool increases the potential for creating channels for the Robinson Solutions uptake and can be used by externals to create replication plans. And the second tool is the replication roadmap tool, which was designed as a flowchart in order to ease the replication process by offering a high level of guidance for decision support, exploiting the information integrated in the evidence base. At this stage, I would like to share the online evidence base and the work that has been done at this level. As you can see, the steps described before are presented in different lines. Every step is separated in order to organize the information. As you can see, the evidence base is integrates a lot of information as technologies, legal framework, applications, and relevant tools and databases that can be exploited for the replication process. Another important point is that the technologies that have been integrated in the evidence base are not only the technologies used within the framework, within the context of Robinson, but we have also integrated other common technologies like electricity storage, electric boilers, flywheels, and other technologies in order to provide a wider list of solutions that can be taken into consideration during a replication, and how all this information are working together. As you can see, for instance, for the first step, which involves the identification of local needs, we have the start. Firstly, we have to understand which are the conditions in the study area. So there is a pop-up window explaining us how we will address this step. For instance, mapping of local needs. If we don't have the relevant information, we can go in the list of tools, and we can exploit each one of these tools in order to find the information that are required in order to proceed in the next step. The similar approach can be found in the other steps. As you can see, there is an analysis on how to set up an action group and information and tools for this process. In the other step, which is referred as linking to solution, we have integrated all the criteria and how we can work and organize this information to create a multi-energy system. We have separate descriptions for each of the technology. And collecting all this information and putting them together, we can create a replication roadmap that will support us to create a comprehensive replication plan. The first step of the replication process involves the identification of local needs. Creating an energy vision, as you can understand, requires specific pathways from assessing local energy needs to analyzing renewable energy sources capabilities. To replicate a set of solutions and drive towards clean energy islands, must engage key stakeholders from the beginning, from academic institutions to local business and citizens groups. Each plays a vital role to this process. Thus, by identifying, mapping, and involving them effectively, we can ensure broader support and success. All this information have been integrated in the replication roadmap tool, and you can find them. This tool is already online, and you can find this information in the Robinson project site. The next step, which is related to linking to solution, of course, in developing a replication plan is an important process. And in this step, we are focusing on selecting the right technical components and infrastructure based on the initial analysis for the local conditions. Our objective in this step is to design a plan that meets the specific needs and aligns with the priorities. The fourth step, which is related in order to ensure the application context, includes aligning business models with legal requirements and funding options, fostering cooperation among stakeholders, and establishing a monitoring framework. Our aim in this step is to design a context-specific plan with feasible business models supported by engaged stakeholders. This type of models have been already presented by Dimitra, and you can understand exactly what we mean. The fifth step is related to the adaptations that have to be taken into consideration in order to assess the customization needed for the technical components and to define the changes that might be required. The last step, of course, is the final step of the replication process. And in this step, the main scope is to ensure the effectiveness of the replication plan. To this end, we collect on the information and we check if there is something missing. As I said before, in the evidence base, a lot of tools have been integrated. Most of them are open access tools and can be exploited to create these replication plans. To close my presentation, I will present just a few information related to the replication plan on the island of Crete. Of course, this replication plan is based on the replication roadmap tool and the analysis presented before. Of course, Crete is a big island in Europe, but it faces some difficulties because can be considered as a medium-level energy transition and weak interconnection. So the replication in a place like Crete presents both challenges and opportunities. As you can see, we have collected the initial information related to the current status in the island of Crete. There is a full description of the energy system in Crete, and then we are focusing on the conditions for the selected use case. The selected use case for Crete was a bakery industry named the Mana, and we have collected there all the information related to the energy consumption and the thermal power consumption. And another important step was to collect all the information related to the renewable energy sources potential and the possibilities for sustainable siting of the technical components of the Robinson concept. Collecting in order to go a step further, except to the energy consumption related to the bakery industry, which was the main use case, we decided to collect information in the area around this place, which is a small village, and we decided to integrate this, the energy consumption and the design of the system to integrate the energy consumption from these households. As you can see, it's a small village with 1,233 residents. The typical annual energy consumption is about 3,540 kilowatt hours per household. Of course, this energy consumption is much, much lower than the energy consumption observed for the bakery industry, and it was the proposed solution it was considered as feasible to integrate this energy consumption in the proposed solution. The second step was applied. We have identified the relevant stakeholder groups for the replication project. This involves the Technical University of Crete, the region of Crete, and an energy community which is operable in Crete. The involved beneficiaries constitute the Mana bakery industry, the owners and beneficiaries of tomato crops, and residents in the area of Platanos village, and some candidates that might be taken into consideration in order to extend the scope of the replication are some local cooperatives and agricultural businesses, and also hotels. The key priorities identified by the stakeholders groups was the rescale identification, the adoption of waste to energy approach, the local energy generation, the issues related to the social acceptance, and somehow to address the legal issues. The third step, which involves the solution, is described in this slide, along with the main scenarios definition. The main scenarios considered for the replication study in Crete, for the replication plan in Crete, include the technical feasibility, the grid connectivity and autonomy, cost and environmental optimization, and the social acceptance. Based in all these criteria, the proposed solution integrates photovoltaics and also a waste to energy approach. Just to explain, in the case study in Crete, we have decided that the tomato crops from local greenhouses would be converted into gas through anaerobic digestion. This gas will be provided to a CHP unit, and then we can produce electricity and thermal power to support the energy needs of the local bakery and the local households. Of course, another biomass source is the olive tree prunings, which can be converted into syngas throughout a gasification process, and which then can be exploited also for thermal power and electricity generation. The fourth step involves the business model recognition. As explained before by Dimitra, the main partners are core activities and values have been considered. For Crete, due to legal issues, the cooperative energy model was considered as the preferable option. And another important process includes the administrative processes definition in order to proceed with the implementation of such project. That's all from me. Thank you very much for your time. And I think now Nikolaos can address the discussion.
Thank you, Nikos. As I also mentioned before with the presentation of Dimitra, I am also equally happy to see the advancements of your work, which was first presented last year at the Island Energy Forum in April. And also now, I also take the opportunity to mention that Nikos, along with Tom Terlo from Paul Scherrer Institute, recently also have been working on a new journal publication on replication studies for Crete. So further work will be also published on our website with links to the relevant journal articles. So with this, I would like to open the floor for any comments, questions, and answers you may have, also based on experience of your own projects or initiatives. So as mentioned before, please raise your hand, also write in the chat so that we can see and the presenters can reply to your comments or questions. Thank you. So I do not see any reactions or also comments to the questions. So I personally have a, well, I first have a question to Dimitra and then to Nikos. So in reference to the business models, Dimitra, what challenges did you experience as part of the Robinson project, and which sort of three main takings you could share with other projects that are attending today our call?
You mean the main challenges that I faced when I had to address for each island, to address each case and to develop the business models, if I understood?
Well, correct. Yes, because
okay. The main challenges are to identify exactly the local conditions of each island. So it is important in order to develop a business model to identify the key stakeholders, the regulation, the regulatory framework, and also the financial instruments that you have in order to support you. If there are some private investors or some other national or European financial instruments that can support you on that. So first, is very important for someone to identify, to describe the local conditions, to have somehow know-how regarding the energy market, and to consult somehow someone that is is an expert somehow in the energy market in order to receive some information regarding how a grid system works, and how you can demonstrate the stakeholders, the actors, how they can interact each other, and so on. So as Nikos said also in the replicability case, you have first to identify the local condition, stakeholders, then regulatory framework, and also if you have the financial instruments to do that. So I think these are the most important things that you have to understand and to present in a model.
Thank you, Dimitra. Okay, I will ask. Okay, I have Peter Janssen, who was recently appointed as emeritus members for our association, ETN. So, Peter, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning the emeritus club status. I'm not sure whether that's really an achievement or just whatever, due to a certain aging process all of us have to go through. The question I had was actually for Dimitra. I might have missed it, or maybe you can a bit further elaborate it on it. The different pros and cons of the business cases or business models you have shown. Are they being identified? So what is more advantageous or disadvantageous for the different models? For example, in terms of whatever investments necessary to make them be realized, or resources needed, these kind of things.
Okay, because I can hear you very well, the connection is somehow bad. I don't know. If I understood, you want to know the criteria and how we can choose these specific models, if I understood, right?
Yeah. So what is specifically positive, or where are they best suited for, or what kind of requirements they would specifically have?
Okay. In order to receive the information from each island, we developed a questionnaire which was distributed to our partners to collect information regarding the already business models that they have, if they have a community there, questions regarding the renewable energy sources that they already have, and so on. So it was a very long analysis when we had to combine the input that we have from our partner, the particularities of each island. For instance, there are if I remember well, in Western Isles, we have some visitors there. We have a seasonal storage needs for them there. So we had to combine different criteria and to see which model. And of course, we had to investigate each model separately and see which are the pros and cons of this model. And according to the input that we have from each island, we have to select the most suitable. This is not an exhaustive list. As I said, there are also other models that can be used, but this, in our case, was the most suitable to implement. So we just gave the process how someone can select and with which tools can present a business model for each case. So for us, it is important to show somehow the path, and then for someone to, if want someone to implement another business model, to have the tools and the instructions to do so. So if you want to have more details and see how we concluded in that, you can visit our website, the Robinson project, and there you can find the business models for energy communities deliverable. When you, it is a public deliverable, when you can find more details about this. I don't know if I answered your questions.
Mostly. I was just wondering, will there be a further evaluation on the, for example, financial investments needed for the different cases on the different islands, so that one can compare it on this basis?
Okay, we didn't make this analysis because it was out of the scope of our deliverable, but in this deliverable you can find some information regarding the different mechanisms and instruments that someone can use to go further and to support the implementation of this of the business model that he wants to implement. So you can find their information with tables regarding the financial instruments that you can use and which financial and which mechanism is more suitable for different energy business models.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitra. Then we have the last question, as we are running out of time. Ewan Scott.
Good afternoon, and thanks to both presenters. This is a question for Dimitra. I just want to highlight a great collation of the business models. I just want to say that some of them, certainly in Scotland or in the UK, are already in place, such as energy clubs, Energy Local being one example, and also virtual power plants under Urban Chain. And what I think over here is the biggest challenge is the regulatory framework, because we're not in a position for local supply. And if local supply was passed at the UK level, which it's a retained power, then it would transform the marketplace and allow a lot of the models that you're presenting to come forward. And last little comment is that sometimes acronyms double up. I see you've got ESCO, and locally here it's used to refer to energy supply companies, which is more on the sleeving side. But just in case there's any confusion comes from that, whereas I quite like your energy services definition as well. But just to highlight, sometimes there is a distinction or confusion may arise over the two, but excellent stuff. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, regarding the two business models that we presented for Eggerøy in Norway, it's 2 of 5 different business models. We had to choose 5 different business models for the demo island. So in some cases, maybe there are some differences and things that cannot be applied exactly, but this is what we could present and show, and some business models that can be integrated together. For instance, for ESCO and VPP, and how we can have these 2 different models together. I don't know if I understood your question well, but this is just some examples of the models that can be used. Maybe this is not the most suitable for the 5 different business models that we have chosen for Eggerøy, but we had to cover different, how can I say, different things that can be somehow suitable for the island of Eggerøy.
No, it's good to know all the options. And I was just highlighting so that some of them, so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. Some of them are already out there. It's just a case of adapting, and improving them to local requirements. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ewan and Dimitra. Is there any further questions? So I do not see any further comments or questions. Before leaving and closing this webinar, I share with you in the chat a link from Slido, which is a webinar feedback. As we are planning to organize 3 other episodes of this webinar series before the end of this year, we would highly welcome your feedback on our webinars and identify any areas for further improvement. So you will be able to complete this webinar. We'll also share the link afterwards. And so please feel free to complete it. So with this, I would like to end this webinar of today of Robinson. So thank you, Dimitra, Nikolaos, for your presentations, and to all our participants. And we are looking forward to welcoming you to the next webinar episode.